I think it's been 5 years since I started using planners. Show your work. This just smells so good. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Shivani and I'm an artist, designer and creative entrepreneur based in the sunny city of Chennai in the south of India. If you're new to my channel, what you can expect to find here is loads of tutorials on working with gouache as a medium, as well as being a creative entrepreneur. This year has been a year of so much growth for me, personally, professionally, and spiritually as well. And my creativity has been such a large part of that growth on all fronts. There were some tiny purchases that I made this year that really helped with all of that growth. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing them with you. Let's jump straight into it. Let's start with this simple one right here, which is a scented candle. I was first gifted a scented candle about a year ago by my sister-in-law and I absolutely fell in love with it. I didn't realize that scents would play such a huge role in any part of my creativity, but I think there's scientific evidence to back that as well, and it just helps me get into the mood when I want to paint and set a really calm atmosphere in my workspace. So I love lighting one of these when I sit down to paint, and I think it really helps me get into the flow as well. You can get candles like these at many different price points. The one I have currently is from Bath & Body Works, and I ended up buying a whole bunch of scents of these because I really do love them. And I think just setting the right environment for yourself when you sit down to create whatever form of creation that might be really helps you get those juices flowing and just elevates your entire experience of creating something. The next two are art supplies, and the first one is specifically related to the medium I love working with, which is gouache. So this is an airtight palette that I bought. We don't really find these easily in India, so I had somebody bring it down from the US for me. I bought it from the Amazon US website. I'm adding links to all of these in the description. For things like candles, I'll also link to a few other brands that I would suggest checking out. And anyway, coming back to this palette, it's a nice airtight palette. Now, why I say that this helps me creatively is I think there's a lot of friction as artists. We tend to give in to our blocks more often than not. And I think being able to work with gouache in this way rather than it always being in tubes really reduces the friction of the process. I know it's a very simple change, but it made a huge difference to the amount I started painting the moment I sat down with this palette and laid out all my paints. I immediately after that started painting more, because when I want to paint, I can just open this and all my colors are there ready for me, and I just take them into my palette and start painting. So it really simplified that whole process for me, and I think I don't think about it as much as I used to when I was working straight out of tubes of paint. The next one is a really good paint brush, and I think that's very underrated even as a beginner artist. So the first slightly expensive paintbrush that I invested in was the Princeton Heritage size 6 brush. I'm not sure what it costs in the US, but I think in India this particular size costs about 700 rupees, which is definitely on the higher end for a paintbrush. You can get much cheaper ones. But the moment I invested in this one paintbrush, my entire journey of painting changed, because I was able to create brush strokes that I really struggled with before. And just by making this one shift and having one expensive brush in my collection, it just improved my experience of painting so much that I wanted to paint even more. So I would recommend that you look at what kind of paintbrush would suit the kind of art that you create. And I chose a size 6 to begin with because it's an in-between. It's not too big, it's not too small, so I could still paint large areas and I could also get a fine tip quite easily, and it just improved my painting game so much. Over time, I did end up investing in a few more Princeton brushes as well, because I loved it so much and I definitely saw the value of investing in a few of these. But at first I just started with this one brush, and I would really recommend that you do that as well, regardless of whether you're painting just as a hobby or professionally. So the next few are going to be about books and also productivity. So the first one among those I'll talk about is this book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I cannot recommend this book enough. It's not only for artists, it's for anybody who has any kind of creative bone in them or any kind of creative urge. The book is subtitled A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity, and it's more like a 12-week course. So each chapter in the book is for 1 week, and you can go through it as a course. And there are 2 activities that the book highly recommends. One is morning pages and one is artist date, both of which I try to be very regular with, and so much so that morning pages has become such an important part of my life right now. But this book really helped me work through creative blocks, and every time I'm facing any kind of block right now, I go back to the book and I try to work through it, and I come out on the other side completely clear in my head, and I know what it is I need to do next to be able to create in the way that I want to. So I would highly recommend going through that book. It was a really nice experience, and I understand why most artists recommend reading this book. It's great. Even if you're not somebody who's spiritually inclined, I know that you will find loads of value in this book. And since we spoke about morning pages, the next thing that I'll talk about is a journal. So you can find any journals anywhere. It really doesn't matter what book it is. This is a really nice unruled journal with cotton pages that I found at Hindustan Trading Company, which is my local art supply store, and I really like this journal because it feels really luxurious to write on. But you can pick any journal that you like, that really doesn't matter. But getting into the habit of journaling was again something that really changed my life this year. I write my morning pages every single morning now, and in fact my morning feels kind of incomplete if I don't do it, because I just feel a little blocked and I feel like I'm not entirely ready to take on the day until I have written my morning pages, because it's become that much of a habit for me, and it really helps give me some mental clarity first thing in the morning, because it's just a brain dump. Honestly, I don't think too much about it. I just put out all my thoughts. I sometimes write about my plans for the day, and if I'm working through something, like if I have too much work on my plate and I know it's physically impossible to get all that work done during the day, that's something I would write about in my morning pages as well, and I would work through it and I'll prioritize, and I'll realize that, hey, it's okay if I let these few tasks go as long as this task, which is the most important, gets done. And then I start my day, my work day, with that clarity, which really brings a clear head into my work and into the art that I'm creating. And overall, I think creativity is in every single aspect of our lives. It's not just in making a painting or writing a song, it's in everything. Creativity is everywhere, and the more creativity you can bring to your everyday life, the more enriching your life is going to be. So I think journaling is a very important part of that process, and I would really recommend it. The next book I wanted to talk about is Steal Like an Artist, which again, highly recommend for any artist to read. I ended up buying the entire series of these 3 books by Austin Kleon, which is Show Your Work, Keep Going, and Steal Like an Artist. I actually read Show Your Work first, and I did a whole video with my review of this book, which is linked up here in case you want to check it out. But that's an amazing book as well. It helped me just be able to show up with a lot more confidence, especially with my journey of starting this YouTube channel and being more vocal on Instagram as well. This was a great book for that. But yeah, Steal Like an Artist, absolute must read for any artist. It just gives you much needed perspective on creativity and how to move forward with your creative work. Keep Going, I haven't read yet. I bought it, but I'm going to be reading it next year, so I will let you know how that goes. And the next thing surrounding productivity and stationery and books is these 2 desk pads that I got from a brand in India called Arkai. I am in love with this brand, and they also make candles, by the way, which are great. I'm linking to all of this in the description description, and in case you want to check these out, I also have a discount code for these, which is mentioned on the screen right here. You can check them out and get 15% off. But basically what this is a desk pad planner for the week. So I'll just show you a fresh page. I have been somebody who has used planners for many years. I think it's been 5 years since I started using planners. But this year I tried out a few different techniques to be productive, and once I got my hand on this desk pad, there was really no going back, because I can just plan out my week and it's just there on my desk at all times for reference. I tick off what I'm doing, and that's pretty much all I need. Aside from this, I always have a notebook by my side where I jot down quick notes through the day. But as far as planning goes, I've learned to just plan out 1 week at a time, assess my week, analyze how my week went before I plan out my next week. So once I'm done with the week on Friday, I just do a quick review for myself and I tear this off and I plan out the next week. So it's been really simple, and I just love the simplicity of working with this, and made a huge difference to my productivity. And they also have this one, which is just a day plan. So sometimes when I want to do proper time blocking for my day, I'll make sure I write down what I'm doing beside the different time slots that are already printed here, and I go about my day according to that. So again, it's been great for my productivity. The next one is a new addition to my studio, which I added once I moved to this new studio, which, by the way, if you want to see my setup of this studio, I did a whole studio tour recently that is linked up here. Please go ahead and check that out once you're done with this video. But yeah, the addition to my studio that I was talking about is this little guy here. So this is my ficus sleeve fig, I think that's what it's called, and it just brought greenery and a really positive vibe to my studio, which I love. And I wanted something in my YouTube backdrop as well, which would really bring in that color and the life to it, and this does a great job of doing that. And I just like having green in my space. I think having greenery in our space really boosts our mood, and definitely as a creator who is massively inspired by nature, it really helps to have that within my space. And I'm lucky because my room is really bright, so I get a lot of sunlight coming in through the day, so the plant is also very happy here, and I am very happy to have it. And the next one, which is not at all going to seem like an investment towards creativity, but I just have to mention it because it's now such an important part of my life. For the first time, I invested in a protein powder, which is this one right here from a brand called Cosmix that I've really grown to love. It's an amazing product. It's called No Nonsense Plant Protein, and this is the mint cacao flavor. So if you're familiar with After Eight, the chocolate, it smells and tastes kind of like that without all the extra sugar, so it tastes great. But the reason I had to mention this is about 1 or 1.5 months ago, I started my fitness journey, which is something that just means so much to me, because my entire life I have struggled to stay consistent with fitness, and this time I've just really decided to commit myself wholeheartedly to it, because when it came to painting, I was suffering from a lot of neck and shoulder pains, which was leading to me not creating as much art as I would like to. And that was really upsetting, and I just didn't want to be that person anymore who could not paint and do the things she wanted to do just because her neck and shoulder are paining. So it was very important to me to get started on this journey, and I'm so happy with how it's going. I'm hoping to continue to stay consistent with it. This protein powder was an important part of that journey. I think taking care of our bodies really just lays a strong foundation for us to be better as creators of any kind, because if your body is not healthy, nothing else in your life is going to work the way you want it to. And I think that's very important, which is why I wanted to add it in as one of the important purchases in this video. And the next thing that really helped me with my entire creative journey this year is this little guy, which is pinned to my t-shirt, which is this mic. This mic is really important to me because it marks the beginning of something that has become so important to my life, which is this YouTube channel. I randomly decided a year ago in November 2021 that I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and then I just decided that I'm giving myself 2 months to get it started, and my first video was a gouache 101 video, which right now if I look at it, it's kind of cringy, but it's okay. It was the beginning, and I think everybody has that learning curve which is really steep in the first 1 year. But I think once I made that decision, I decided that I'm going to keep things simple, and this was literally the only thing I invested in, this little mic, and it's just a budget level mic that anybody can get. And I shot all the videos on my phone, which by the way I still do. I shoot most of my content on my phone itself. So this mic was the first investment that I made towards my YouTube channel, and I am so grateful for it, and I'm so grateful that I reached this point now where I've been creating videos for almost 1 whole year, and I have almost 550 subscribers and growing every single day, which is so wonderful and so heartwarming, and just such a lovely note to end this year on. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you all for being a part of this journey, for watching my videos, for commenting on them. If you haven't liked this video, please like it. That would mean the world to me, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am completely looking forward to what next year has to bring, especially with all these purchases that I have around me, and I look forward to all of you being a part of that journey with me, as well as we grow and create and make more art together. So thank you so much once again for being here, for watching this video, for watching other videos, all of it. I hope you guys have a wonderful beginning of next year, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.